Welcome to the shop. Thought I'd start off with a little video rant about cheap replacement batteries for my GoPro, which are just useless. Well, welcome back to the shop. It's playoff Saturday in the football world. My team's losing in the fourth quarter, so I've decided to exercise my superstition and come down to the shop and do a little bit of work. Seems like when I don't watch them, they do better than when I do watch them. So I'm going to try and build a shrinking stump, or at least a wood block that has the same features as a shrinking stump. So I brought this in a week ago and it's been drying out a little bit. I measured it to find a center line. On the center line I used a compass to scribe a circle. And now I'm going to use a small chisel to scribe the inner portion of that line, and then I might use a saw to cut some depth cuts. Not quite sure yet, but we'll find out. Let's see if this is a task that we can do sitting down. Change the location a little bit. Maybe go in about 1/8 of an inch. So okay, that's done. Got a little bit of an edge. Not as accurate as I might have wanted it, but I think now I'm going to just draw some lines, see if I can't use them as guideposts for some saw cuts. Okay, well, I have that more or less scribed out. A little deeper in the inner circle, a little less deep in the middle circle, and 0 cuts in the outer circle. So I think I'm just going to see what happens here. I did buy a grinder blade which kind of resembles a chainsaw. I think I'm going to chisel this out just to get away some of my anxiety and anger over what's been going on in the world. Well, it seems to be taking shape, that's for sure. I was concerned about how hard these knots are, and I was legitimately concerned, as it turns out. I do have to work around them, but in general, the bowl is starting to take shape, and it's just going to need a couple more hours of work. So back to time lapse. Well, good morning. Another morning in the shop. We're going to use a chisel, I think, to get to some of the perimeter work here, and then a little bit later we're going to put a grinder on this. Well, we're making some progress. It's a bit of a mess. These two knots, if I could have arranged it, I should have arranged it just over here and sacrificed a chunk of this wood, and I wouldn't have had to deal with these two knots. But it kind of goes all right. Right, well, I think it's time to consider a different tool. So I bought this not so long ago. I think I'm going to try and put it onto one of these grinders and see if that's useful. Be back in a few minutes. Well, that certainly is an effective tool. It's also certainly a very messy tool. I did know that I should have gone outside with this. And look, it's all the way over to the lathe. So it's pretty much scattered wood fiber everywhere in a shop that I have metalworking going on where fire is a hazard. So I think I'm going to spend the next half an hour cleaning up this mess, and I won't do any more of that particular tool in this space. In the pantheon of stupid decisions, stupid shop decisions that I have made, hooking up that grinder to that particular blade and doing it down here in the shop was only surpassed by me taking a scalding hot bowl of soup, top ramen as it happens, and dumping it all over my belly while I was sitting in an easy chair a week ago, resulting in third-degree burns all over my chest, which are still very painful. But it's cleaned up a bit. It did work, most definitely. I'm going to take the other grinder blades and finish this off, but I'm going to do that outside, and I'm not going to. Really, of all the boneheaded things that I could have done, that one is the worst. My entire shop is now embedded with little chips of wood everywhere, little bits of sawdust everywhere, little flammable pieces of wood. I'm going to have to spend days vacuuming and cleaning so that I can, with confidence, do any metalworking. I have done some boneheaded things in my time, but that one ranks high. Anyway, thanks for visiting the shop.